Sometimes the nights turn into days and I can't sleep. Stare at a ceiling wondering why. Somewhere along the way I realized it's a long, long, long way back home. Yep. When I saw my name in the lights, I knew I was on my way. A new girl or two each night. I thought I had it made. Sometimes the nights turned into days and I couldn't sleep. I stare at the ceiling wondering why. Somewhere along the way I realized it's a long, long, long way back home. I ain't proud of my running. You can say I lost my way. Maybe I had this coming. This is my reckoning day. Sometimes the nights turn into days and I can't sleep. Stare at the ceiling wondering why. Somewhere along the way I realized it's a long, long, long way back home.
Red Barn Radio, roots music, Southern style. The best music from the roots of the South, and sharing this music with the world.
The first Garrett boy that came to Overton County was Jacob Garrett. He left North Carolina a couple hundred years ago and settled in an area of Overton County. Land records say he acquired land between Mill Creek and Mitchell Creek. And that's the area and land that Russ and I grew up on, and that Carter and I just moved back to. Russ and I consider ourselves lucky to grow up on that land. We fished its ponds and hunted its squirrel and flipped a few four-wheelers in our day on that property and lived to tell about it. So we consider ourselves lucky to have grown up there in a little part-time farm up in Overton County. And that's what this song is about. It's called Me and This Land. Caught my share of catfish in all these little ponds. Over time we let them go, and now they're almost gone. Guess I'll always have the memories of these hills and growing up. Lately I've been wondering if that's gonna be enough. Maybe it's just dirt, maybe they're just trees. Maybe I'm just romanticizing history and the way things used to be now. To be honest, I'm not sure I even understand, but there's something between me and this land. Raised up in this cabin my great-granddaddy built by hand. Those winters wasn't easy, but they made me who I am. hauling hay and feeding horses, fixing fences, cutting wood. Yeah, things I swore I hated, now I'd do them if I could. And maybe it's just dirt, maybe they're just trees. Maybe I'm just romanticizing history and the way things used to be. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure I even understand, but there's something between me and this land. For 6 generations, this deed has held our name. Blood, sweat, and tears, did they all fall in vain? There's an auction sign out by the road, yeah, and here I stand, the one letting go. And maybe it's just dirt, maybe they're just trees. Maybe I'm just romanticizing history and the way things used to be. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure I even understand, but there's something between me and this land. Oh Lord, there's something between me and this land. Thank you. Well, if you grew up in the upper Cumberland area in Overton County, where we did, especially long before us at the turn of the century, early 1900s, like some of our ancestors, making a living sometimes was difficult. Sometimes folks had to rely on government assistance, things like government commodities and things like that. It was no different for our ancestors. Also, sometimes it would lead folks to an entrepreneurial endeavor that might run a little bit sideways with the local law enforcement, if you know what I might mean. Our folks weren't too good at it, but it didn't mean that they wouldn't try. So one story goes that after the head man had the still up and running, was pretty proud of what was going on, so he sent one of the kids back to the house to get some snacks. When they came back with crackers and cheese, he leaned up against the tree and stuck his chest out and said, "Boys, we're making Wildcat whiskey on the government cheese." We thought that should be a song, so here it is. It's called Wildcat Whiskey. Well, now time's been tough, yeah, there ain't no doubt. Standing in a line with my hand held out. Be a heap ashamed that he saw me this way, but what's a man to do? Ain't no brick to be laid. Make some Wildcat whiskey. Make a little Wildcat whiskey. I tell you, life ain't easy, but it sure is sweet. Making Wildcat whiskey on the government cheese. Come on. Well, now Fishbone Clarence keeps running that mouth. Pretty soon we're gonna have to find a new route. Dog Walker Road, banner covered in fuzz and running out. They'd be begging for a bust. Making Wildcat whiskey. Make a little Wildcat whiskey. Move a little Wildcat whiskey now. Run a little Wildcat whiskey. Sure is sweet, making Wildcat whiskey on the government cheese. Say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Should he come sneaking round, what's the sheriff gonna say? To a steady lookout with an old 10 gauge, slid a common rail from 50 feet away. Making Wildcat whiskey, make a little Wildcat whiskey. whiskey now. Make a little wildcat whiskey. I tell you, life ain't easy, but it sure is sweet. Making wildcat whiskey on the government cheese. I'll play us one, Keith. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Should he come sneaking around, what's the sheriff gonna say? To a steady lookout with an old 10 gauge, slid a common rail from 50 feet away. Making wildcat whiskey, make a little wildcat whiskey. Run a little hog eye whiskey now, make a little wildcat whiskey. I tell you, life ain't easy, but it sure is sweet. Making wildcat whiskey on the government cheese. We're making wildcat whiskey on the government cheese. All right. Thanks. So the highest point on that property that he talked about is a spot called Pond Ridge. It's a mountaintop that happens to have an indention that basically forms a pond on the very top of the highest point of our property, so it's a unique spot. Our grandfather told us a story about a tragic incident that happened back when he was a child in the 1940s. Russ and I got together to write this song. We couldn't quite remember the full story, so we finished the story. We couldn't get a hold of our grandfather at the time. After we wrote it, we got clarification on the story and decided to keep it the way it was. I like to say it's about 89% true. So this is about an 89% true story. But this song is called Pond Ridge. I wasn't looking for trouble. I wasn't looking for nothing. I was just trying to get away, maybe do a little wandering, lift my pickup truck out where the road ends. Looking back now, I wish I'd have just got back in. Now I've seen things I wish I hadn't, and I've been scared, but not like that. I'd never seen evil or looked it in the eyes, but I'm pretty sure I did that night up on Pond Ridge. Yeah, up on Pond Ridge. I could see a little campfire down towards the lake, so I took off walking that way. I thought I heard somebody crying, thought it might have been a fight. It's probably none of my business, how, but something just didn't seem right. Now I've seen things I wish I hadn't, yeah, and I've been scared, how, but not like that. I'd never seen evil or looked it in the eyes, but I'm pretty sure I did that night up on Pond Ridge. Shots rang out, I should have cut and run. She was barely still breathing, and nothing else could be done. See, her folks would have nothing of her loving. A black man in the South, they had to be together forever, the only way that they knew how. Now I've seen things I wish I hadn't. Oh, and I've been scared, oh, but not like that. I'd never seen evil or looked it in the eyes, but I'm pretty sure I did that night up on Pond Ridge. Yeah, up on Pond Ridge. Thank you so much. I mentioned my grandfather and grandmother both. They were huge inspirations on us. Russ and I grew up next door to them and counted it a gift to be able to just run next door anytime we wanted to go to Grandma's house. They were amazing stalwarts of our not only our family, but also our community. And they just had a great story, a great love story. When they fell in love, they were too young to get married without consent. And my grandmother's mother just wasn't having it. So they ran off to Mississippi, where they didn't need consent to get married. And when they came back, they told my grandmother, or my grandmother's mother about it. And she said, "Peggy, you have led your ducks to a bad pond." But they were married for, band historian, 65 years, and lived happily ever after. And so it turned out to be a pretty good pond. So this is a song about their life and their love story, and it kind of just wrote itself. So this is the Ballad of Ed and Peg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. The son of a logger and a bricklayer's daughter fell into something that few rarely find. Despite the warnings from her mother, she led her ducks to that water, and her eyes would shine brighter when he'd come around. And she'd smile when he told her that she'd be the only one he'd love. So on Valentine's Eve, when everyone was asleep, she climbed out her window into his passenger seat. They went off to Mississippi, where no consent would be needed. They stood before a judge and the Lord up above, and swore on everything holy that she'd be the only one he'd love. And soon they'd have 2 daughters and a boy in between. And time would move quicker than they could have dreamed, and days turn to memories, beginnings to endings, like life and fast forward on a screen. Yeah. Now her health had been fading, of that there's no doubt, but there was just certain things that he couldn't think about, like holding her hand by a hospital bed and saying goodbye until they'd meet again, or how to deal with the lonely, knowing she'll be the only one he loved. 5, 6, 1, 2. Thank you. Well, sometimes we do get mistaken for a bluegrass band because we play bluegrass instruments, but we really hold bluegrass players in high regard, and we don't really like to practice. So we don't really consider ourselves bluegrass players, so we consider ourselves a folk band. And we heard somewhere that if you were going to be a folk band, you had to have a train song. And we didn't have a train song, so we decided, well, we better write one, and thought really hard about the title, and we went with On a Train. So this is our train song, On a Train. Here we go, boys. Outside of Detroit City, I met a girl who walked real pretty. Said she was running from her yesterday. She said, I ain't ever been to New Orleans, but it always sounded good to me. Let's hop a car and head on down that way, yep. So I'll be on a train, maybe headed west, strapped on my back, all I got left. And if you're looking for me, come call my name, yeah. I'll be on the train, yeah. Yeah, I'll be on the train. Yeah, now that Southern Pacific line I was on took me straight to San Antone. The sun came up at Sunset Station there, and I'd heard about them Texas girls. Thought I might give one a whirl. For a couple nights we made quite the pair, yep. But I'll be on a train, maybe headed west, strapped on my back, all I got left. And if you're looking for me, come call my name, yeah. I'll be on a train, I'll be on a train. Ride one there, Keith Sewell. The kind of life, made some room for kids, a wife, but until now it's clear that that ain't me. Yeah, I don't want to rule it out, might find me one that ties me down, but until then, you know where I'll be, yep. I'll be on a train, maybe headed west, strapped on my back, all I got left. And if you're looking for me, call my name, yeah. I'll be on a train, yeah. I'll be on a train, yeah. I'll be on a train, yeah. I'll be on a train. Here we go, boys. Baby, I had this coming. This is my reckoning day.